Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between Jimpo and Adelscott here on Lost Temple. Here we have Jimpo spawning as the purple Terran player at the 3 o'clock position. Meanwhile, we have Adelscott spawning over here as the orange Protoss player at the 7 o'clock position. Should be a great game. This is the third game in a series that I have, and pretty fun game so far. And between the series, game 1 took place, I believe, on Kulos Ravine, if I remember correctly. And game 2 on or in the Xel'Naga Caverns, and now game 3 here on Lost Temple. I don't want to spoil, actually by this time you probably watched them all. Game 1 going to Jimpo, a really great game, really just a lot of mind games there, and Jimpo countering of early Void Ray Rush absolutely perfectly. Adelscott taking game 2 in this series, and now game 3, I believe this is a best of 3 series, as this is the last game that I have in this series, and hopefully it will turn out to be a good one. So Adelscott continuing to train up more and more probes. We should be seeing a gateway being placed down momentarily after the 12 supply. Back over here, Jimpo now will be throwing down a barracks in just a moment as well. It doesn't look like he's going to be doing anything out of the ordinary. Just opening up with the standard 12 racks. Perhaps the racks will be placed right here. Train up one Marine. I like this positioning over here as a tech lab, and then another supply depot here will make it very difficult for any units to try to do any sort of run by into the SCV line. Back over here, we do see the gateway now currently being warped in as well, followed by the assimilator. So we are getting an early, or the standard assimilator for the Cybernetics core, as we are also getting the standard refinery for the standard refinery for that tech lab, or perhaps even a factory. But I gotta believe that a tech lab needs to be thrown down. Reapers and Marauders so influential and so powerful in the Terran versus Protoss matchup. Over here, a simulator has been completed, and now just waiting for this gateway to be completed in order to get that Cybernetics core, and this game will be underway tech-wise. Back over here, are we going to get a Marine first? Yeah, a Marine now being trained up and upgrading to an orbital command. Marines, probes, Cybernetics core, nothing too out of the ordinary, as is SCV finally going to scout. We do see that Jimpo and Adelscott, both of them are starting to scout a little bit later. Normally, Protoss players like to scout a little bit earlier just because they can do that. Probes do, once they start warping in a building, do not need to continue to warp in that building. So it gives the probes a little bit more of an economic advantage, or the Protoss players a little bit more of an economic advantage early in the game, as one SCV always needs to come off the mineral line in order to start building a building. However, for the Zerg, you permanently lose that unit, so a little bit of a difference there. Now we finally see that an SCV deciding to return home. No, perhaps going to go ahead and activate the Xel'Naga Watchtower. This Xel'Naga Watchtower will be very important in keeping track of any sort of early harassment, as this reveals such a large and wide range of view for this game. We do see one Stalker now currently being warped in. However, there is also one Reaper, and now going for a second barracks. So this is going to be a 2 racks play, and a little surprised that I don't see any sort of research coming in on this tech lab yet. Normally stim pack, concussive shells, or even combat shield would be a decent choice, but no. Now training up a Marine here and not even getting any sort of research. We now see this Reaper finally moving out, and that Reaper is going to be able to come up this back ledge over here. There is one Stalker, so that Stalker will be able to handle that Reaper fairly easily. That Reaper has the same movement speed as that Stalker, but because that Stalker has a longer range, it is going to be fairly difficult for that Reaper to even win a fight or get any essential probe kills off. However, we do have a Stalker now moving out, so that it was a little bit of a misplay there. Now, as this probe able to get some quick hot hits off and maybe able to take down this Zealot here. We do have a second Zealot now coming out, but what is another Zealot going to do against a 2.95 movement Reaper? And that Reaper finally getting that shot off there, taking down one of those units, and only taking a half a round of attack. And now this Reaper doing a great job just messing up the mineral line here. Will finally get taken down, but getting, I believe, 3 to 4 kills. We do see one probe activating this Xel'Naga Watchtower here, and now this both sides unable to use this Xel'Naga Watchtower site. Over here, we do see a Stalkers continuing to be chrono boosted in. No warp gate research. That is very strange. So we may have blink. So we are getting a phase prism. So it's not going to even be a blink. It is going to be a phase prism, but no warp gate. I'm not sure anymore. So I have seen phase prisms to be used in order to get Stalkers onto that high ground, and then turning into the phase prism, or the pylon mode, or the matrix mode, in order to warp in additional units as well. So now we see the warp prism picking up some units. We do have another sentry moving out, and this early warp prism play. I'm very curious as to how this is going to work. We do see Jimpo opening up with his Ghost double racks, and now with that Ghost Academy, he will be able to get an EMP Shockwave off, and that EMP Shockwave may be able to deal a lot of damage. He does not see that there is a Warp Prism in his base. However, no Warp Gate research, finally being Chrono boosted a little bit late. No Stalker Blink, so that's a little bit of a weird play so far, and now trying to deal as much damage as possible, perhaps going after some of these SCVs, trying to take down that Mule. That Mule down to 12 hit points, 4 hit points. There it goes, now taken down, going to lose a Zealot, and now wants to jump away, but unable to get into that Warp Prism, and now Stalker's trying to fight a large group of Marines, and that is taken down. So these Marines, not even having Stim Pack, able to catch up to those Stalkers and destroy them. We do see a factory now currently being rebuilt army-wise, 900 versus 150. However, did I see? Yes, I see a Dark Shrine. So a Dark Shrine now being built. We should probably see another fate or another prism. Do we have another prism? No. No additional prisms, as we now have these Marines and Ghosts now moving out. The EMP Shockwave will be able to reveal those Dark Templars, and now that the Cybernetics Core not even completed doing that Warp Gate, we need to see a Force Field. Will it be placed in time? Yes, one Force Field placed just in time. Does he have enough energy for another Force Field? He does. Needs to pull back, very, very careful, down to 62 energy, and now needs to get another Force Field, otherwise he's in trouble. And no, these units are able to push through, and this is going to be a very, very bad day for Adelscott. Adelscott needs to get some Dark Templars out. No Warp Gate yet, Warp Gate research, so that Warp Gate research just being a little bit late is going to very, very much hurt him. The Dark Shrine is already up, and now trying to get that Warp Gate, trying to get more and more units. However, the Marines are simply able to push through, and I think Jimpo on this timing push was absolutely critical, enabling him to get out these 2 units. We do see the Dark Templars now moving out, taking down some of these units. Here, a quick scanner sweep, revealing those Dark Templars, and that's gotta be GG. We do have another Dark Templar down over here, getting a couple of quick snipes onto that Dark Templar in order to try to shoot him and take him down. And now we see this one Dark Templar Zealots coming in as well. Down goes that Dark Templar, and EMP Shockwave revealing him, and that's good game, well played. So yeah, Adelscott trying to do some early aggression with a Warp Prism, really unable to capitalize on that. I think that his real issue was not getting that Warp Gate research in time. I think if he had gotten that Warp Gate research in time, he would have had anywhere from 3 to 6 Dark Templars. Those Dark Templars could have held this choke point, and then another Force Field would have been placed down, enabling him to get even more Dark Templars and then do a counter push, as the Terran player only has currently 1 Command Center and 1 Ghost, I believe, in this whole entire group. So with only 1 Ghost, EMP Shockwaves and Scanner Sweeps is not enough to really deal with 6 to 8 Dark Templars. However, he was unable to really capitalize on this. That Twilight Council was only there for that Dark Shrine. However, the Warp Gate research not being completed, and that's GG. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 3-game set between Adelscott and Jimpo. All 3 games were great. Jimpo taking 2 games, Adelscott able to take 1. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.